Well, here we are. It's a Saturday morning. It means it's time for the Remax Magnolia Show with myself, Curtis Pope. And this week we're joined for, I guess, a wild card episode because we have the one and only Richard Cummins here. Are you making your own sound effects?
I carry my own. Well, you know what? When I do shows, I have a baseball bat. And I give it to the three people in the audience. And they sign it. And it becomes my fan club. Oh, hi-oh! First thing in the morning, Saturday, you got to get,
I haven't had enough coffee in me yet for that. Oh, I might need another one.
Yes.
Might need one of Michele's Christmas coffees if you're going to make jokes like that.
Oh, yes, that comes up.
Yeah. And you've got a special guest here.
I have a very special guest. The
Cummins generally do the big introduction, so I will let you do the introduction.
Yes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, to my right, to your left, is Kingsley Ma. So Kingsley truly lives up to his name. He is one of the kings of Remax. He is the vice president of Remax Canada. And I've known him for many years in the years that we've been in Remax. And I just couldn't be more thrilled to have him here on the radio show this morning.
Yeah, it's great to be here. It's like you said, I mean, we've got to know each other for a couple of years now. For a lot of things that we've done and crazy stuff that maybe we shouldn't talk about it here, but it's good to be here.
Kingsley runs Remax with an iron fist. No, but I'll tell you what else he can do. In San Diego, we were in the Lamp area, the Lamp Lake
area.
And this guy pulled out Summer of '69 in the karaoke like nobody's business. Just slayed them.
So, well, you know those baseball bats that you were talking about? They were coming right at me. No, they were coming right at me.
I've got video of it.
There's a fine art to karaoke, right?
It definitely is.
And it usually involves a certain amount of drinks.
Yeah, or passing it and going to the next bar.
That's right.
Exactly.
No, he's fantastic. Kingsley Ma. So what we're going to do probably for this show is we're going to do a little bit of a testimony. This is going to be more like a recruiting episode again for Remax to let the listening audience know why we believe Remax is the place for realtors and the place to buy and sell your home, bar none.
Every time you do a recruitment episode, I want to go get my real estate license. So we got to stop this.
It's good plan. Good plan. We can guide you.
I wouldn't know.
We can help you where to start.
The papers are right here.
If making real money would throw me off.
Yeah, it tends to do that to people. I mean, you've seen Howard Hughes and.
That's right. I'd probably end up like that.
It's interesting though when you said we come in the real estate industry. A lot of people think all realtors make a lot of money, but realistically, they don't.
No.
I think I was looking at the stats, and I think 20% of them barely make average household income. So 80% of them don't, right? And another interesting stat is 80% of the realtors, actually, like new realtors coming in, they actually leave the industry in the first 5 years.
So that's very similar to radio, believe it or not, because it's a similar thing. Most people think they're going to be making big money because they're going to be working in a big market, and they think they're going to be there overnight. And then they're in a small market, and they're eating craft dinner and hot dogs and not making much money, barely able to make their rent, and they give up after about 5 years.
Exactly. However, saying that, for those that stay, they do make a good amount of money because... And a lot of people view industry to come in as I think make a quick buck here and two, and the reality is it just doesn't happen that way, right?
No.
You have to be committed. You have to be full time. You really have to be looking after the consumer's best interest in order to be successful. And real estate is up and down thing, right? It's a roller coaster ride for many people.
It is. Well, what's the Kelowna with the new realtors, like the Kickstart or whatever, for the new realtors? Michele was speaking at one.
Right.
And we were sitting at a table, and there was a girl, and she looks at me, and after hearing a few things, she's dead serious. This isn't 9 to 5? And
no.
I said, I thought she'd go joking. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, really? No, it's
definitely not 9 to 5. And you have to work most weekends. That's where consumers are free, right? Because a lot of consumers are actually working 9 to 5, so they're not going to do a lot of the meetings and all that stuff.
And showings, for a lot of people.
So whenever anybody want to get into the industry, they have to be able to have that mindset of flexibility, right? I think that's the first thing they have to understand, because without flexibility, because your time, especially when you're new, your time is catered to the client's time, not your own personal time.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And you have to really get good at what the craft that you know, right? You have to. It's experience too, and a lot of times. And you mentioned Kickstart, which is something we do live in-person training. I think we are the only brand in Canada that does the live orientation for new associates coming in, and it's the collaboration, right? It's like you want to play better golf, then you play with better golfers, right?
Correct, yeah.
And I think that's really important for people coming in, is to associate yourself with good people around you.
Correct, yeah. You surround yourself with excellence, and you will be excellent. We were with Roller Page for many years, Michele and I, and when we came to Remax, one of the things that blew our minds was just how many resources, conferences, clinics, schools, education you can actually get with Remax.
Right. And I personally, I mean, I've been in the industry for 20 years now, all in real estate franchising. Actually, most of them, I can't say all. But for first 13 years before Remax, I was with another company called Century 21, which is also a very...
No,
Never heard of them.
Which is also a very known global brand. But a lot of people, it was interesting, a lot of people asked me, like, after a couple of years of Remax, like, what's the difference between Remax and not just Century 21, but like all other real estate company? Why does Remax have 30.55% market share in Canada? That's almost one every three deals. So what's the deal with Remax that makes a difference? And I go, well, a couple things. I mean, aside from the value proposition, like from anything from education, training, technology, and the corporate environment that, kind of instill that culture in there. But I think it's the people within. It's the overall mindset of the people, right? A lot of times when asked about what Remax realtors are like, some other brands or some other companies, they go, "Oh, they're sharks." No, it's actually the other way around. Remax realtors, I think, are far more collaborative with other realtors, and this is why when new realtors come in, this is extremely important. In fact, this is critical for them to align yourself with good producers like Michele and other ones in Canada, to learn from them. Because why would you want to go through all those mistakes that they made when you can simply have a coffee, have a lunch, have a dinner with them and ask those questions?
Right. Well, they have a saying when you were a student of history that we were pygmies standing on the shoulders of giants. It's that the giants are there. That's our history. That's the experience that we can glean on, reading. So, exactly. Why would you go through all that yourself when you can go straight to... And the thing about you're saying about the Remax people, it does draw, to me, the hard workers. We all know that there's budget real estate companies out there, the different percentage companies and things like that. And a lot of times... they live up to their name. They will say, you're getting 2%, so we're doing 2% of the work. But you know what? That's fine. I've seen Michele go in there, there's so much that needs to be done. She will do, the other 80% of their job and her job, because she cares that her client gets into the place that's right. And you don't see that with a lot of other companies. You see, but you do see it in Remax. You see people who are willing to go the extra mile, the 110%.
Absolutely. And when you're coming into real estate, I mean, a lot of times, and I completely understand this. New realtors come in, I haven't make a buck. So I want to find something, like you said, the 2%, the cheapest one. Like, so I could save a buck. But then when you really think about it, first of all, you're coming in real estate, you are considered as a business owner yourself. So are you coming in to look after your own expenses, or are you looking after as an investment? So when you consider you're a business owner, and you're obviously investing in yourself in this case, you're looking after the margin, not your expenses. There's a significant difference between margin and expenses. Expenses is just what dollar coming in. But margin is how much more can I make so that these expenses, a little bit more, there's good value in it, and it doesn't matter at the end.
Right.
Right.
Well, you get what you paid for, right? I mean, I remember about 20 odd years ago, there was that you were selling and buying your homes yourself online. There was a company that I can't remember their name. You saw their signs everywhere for about 6 months to a year. And then
that was sell on MLS. They would put your house on MLS for $700.
It was something, and then it just disappeared after about 6 months to a year because you weren't getting that support you would get from a real estate agent. You wouldn't have, they had a support thing you could text or call or whatever, but it wasn't that one-on-one connection. You weren't, I've been in here with Michele when she's had nothing but text coming in because of a deal. Like, oh, hold on, can you play another commercial? I got to answer this. Things like that. Like, I understand it is it's a job that takes up a lot of your time. You have to be committed, and it's not 9 to 5, but you do need to be able to support people. And I have to say, Michele helped me sell my house and buy a new one, and 24/7 she was there to answer questions for me, and she always had the answer. And if she didn't, she faked it real well.
Yeah. Well, and this is for consumers out there, right? And Michele is a really good example of a really good real estate agent. Real estate agent's job is not just to sell or help you buy. You have to think about it. They have to know the numbers, so a lot of the accounting stuff too, right? And they have to market. They have to promote your listing. They have to, digitally or traditionally or newspaper, whatever it is, right? Not only that, they have to know all the regulations. What's the procedure, can guide you through. But lastly, the most important part is a real estate agent has to guide your emotions. It's like counselors guide a consumer's emotion, because buying a house, it's emotional. How I feel about the kitchen, how I feel about the backyard.
Right. James said it, who works with us now, friend of mine. So James, who's in our office, I've known
we pick on him a lot. We pick on him every episode, pretty much.
Yeah.
We haven't said anything bad about him yet today.
No. Well, I'm going to say something. What he said when Michele helped them find their place, he said, when Michele, how did he say it? How did you say it, Jim? Phone in. Remind me.
He's listening this early in the morning.
No, he's sleeping.
Of course.
He's sawing logs. There we go. We got one.
We got one in at him.
He said how Michele almost silently guided us.
Yeah.
Through it, where she was guiding us, but it wasn't an overt or almost overbearing guidance, but it was a guidance that all the same.
I remember the big one with Michele was when we put her house up, and she goes, it was up for a few days. She goes, you know what? We'll take offers until Saturday, and all offers have to be in by Saturday. Okay, we got one just low ball offer that she told us about. She goes, don't even worry about it. You got one, but don't worry about it. And then she was kind of silent for a couple days. And me and my wife started getting real paranoid. Oh, no. And then Michelle's like, oh, there's a couple more, but they're still not great. Okay. And then Saturday she phoned us up. It's like getting close to D-Day here, and she's like, all right, you have 8 offers. And I'm like, what? She's like, I've just been going through them, checking them all. And she goes, I would say it's down to these 2. And just, but she's doing all that work in the background. Well, we're not doing anything.
Yeah. Well, that's right. It's like those old cowboy serials. You had to have the cliffhanger. You had to give a moment for you to, for the reveal, right?
Yeah. And that's why a good real estate agent shouldn't have to make their clients worry. Right?
Yeah.
Because you're worried as is, no matter what person does, but they can always minimize that that emotional roller coaster of a buyer or a seller.
And that is something Michele was very good at. Like you said, kind of silently guiding you, because she just had that demeanor. No, it's fine. It's good. You don't want this when it's a lowball offer. There's more coming in. She was really good at just kind of taking the edge off.
Awesome.
Yeah. And that's,
well, she has to deal with you, so she has to take the edge off all the time.
I mean, yeah, she's getting really good at dealing with hard to deal with people.
Yeah, between you and me.
My our training program for Michele is. You're welcome, Michele.
That's
You're
right.
Welcome.
All the abuse we've thrown at her actually has been to better her as a real estate agent.
Yes. See, and it's that's
well, and that's why the real estate agent also have to make sure they can control their emotions too, right?
On the other hand, yeah, exactly. Absolutely. And knowing that, like you're saying earlier about the business, a couple $1,000. Oh, I made a couple $1,000 this month. But maybe your advertising, maybe what it's going to take for you to get your client where they need to be is a couple $1,000. You need to make your money, and then you got to make your business money.
Yeah.
And so I think what we're going to do in the next section is we're going to see how Kingsley actually came to Remax. And again, we're going to see why Remax is the place for you. And I'm talking to all these realtors who aren't.
All right. Well, that sounds like a plan. So we'll take a quick break here. We'll be back with more right after this.